Hey everybody, we're back with more Digital Devil Saga. Because I want to play more Digital Devil Saga, so we're playing more Digital Devil Saga. Let's play Digital Devil Saga. Good times. Good times. Alright, so we left off, we were up against a boss. We had full everything? Yes, good. We were up against the boss. But now we're ready for it because I've made one change to my skills. Is this going to be devastating to the boss, or is this going to be me woefully under-preparing for it? Let's find out. Right now. In a few minutes. Good thing I remember what these things are weak to. Do another one. And then burn the last two. That's one. That's two. Oh, I didn't kill it, damn it. I hope everybody's learned something here today. Alright, let's do this. Cutscene. Skippable cutscene. Alright. Now the trick was Surf is weak to fire, and this boss primarily uses fire. So we set up fire repel every turn. And this guarantees that we'll be fine. And then we throw Bufala at the left head, because it'll do major damage. And that's our entire strategy, this entire fight now. We get rid of this left head first, because it's the one that heals. That's okay, we'll just smack him in the face now. Fire repel again. And then just hit him in the face. Left face. The real trick of it all is the right head is your stat buffs and debuffs. The left head is healing, and the middle head does the attacks. What it really means is we want the healing head gone first, and then probably the right head. We can deal with the attacks. Particularly since, with the press turn system, enemy attacks have the same problems yours do. If you hit an enemy with something that they are immune to, or if you hit an enemy with something they're shielded against, then you lose 2 turns. If you hit an enemy with something that they repel or absorb, you lose all your turns. And that goes both ways. So it attacks us with fire, its turn's done. Hence the entire purpose of just throwing fire drain on. I'm on fire repel. I didn't have fire drain. And then we just do this up until left head's dead. And everything should work out fine. The difference being this way, I don't have to change Surf out, and I don't even know if I can, honestly. Common thing in JRPGs to not be able to take the main character out of the party. But rather than having to actually figure it out, we negate Surf's weakness, while also removing an attack option for the boss. I think it works out pretty well. Okay, we do Fire Repel again. And then Heal Gale. And then Cielo throws down a Boothler. I love the press turn system. I love its fairness. I love that things work the same way. Kind of irritating. Well, hey, we didn't take damage and we can deal with that. Damn, the health absorbed pretty quick. I love that the press turn system works the same way for you and the enemy, because it's irritatingly common in RPGs to come up with a battle system that favours the enemy over you. And in some regards, this does. But that's primarily in that an enemy can have multiple turns. But those turns all work the same way as your turns. Okay, so it just used Power Charge. So we don't use Fire, but figure out what the other heads are weak to. Not that. Not that. Is it still ice? I'm sure it was different last time. Guess we'll find out. Hit it then. Doing more damage. Okay. I'll do Boothler again, see how much damage that does this time when they don't have a block on. Yeah, I think just physical attacks are going to be preferable. Well, that's bullshit. Gotta expend a turn to revive him now. There's the catch. Smart play. No matter what I did, somebody was going to be left vulnerable. So what we'll do is Fire Repel, and then do a mass heal. And we're back on top. And keep it going until we win. Which hopefully will be soon. Is there an ability in Shin Megami Tensei that negates status buffs and debuffs? That'd be worth looking into. If you're ever wondering what the status spells are, the simple way to figure it out is Kaja is always buff, Kunda is always debuff, and then the prefix that follows them denotes the specifics. Tara is attack, Tara Kunda, Tara Kaja, and just work it out from there. There you go, Rakunda lowers defense. Don't like that. Okay, you heal. I think you just attack. He'll be dead sooner or later. Lowering the defense is a pain. Alright, sweet, the right head's close to dying. There you go, Tarakaja. Which creates the problem we had before. Approach this problem differently this time, though. And then revive him after we have Fire Repel up. Fire Repel won't affect Gale now. But the difference is last time it took the opportunity to do its combo attack, which was a problem. You know, maybe the smarter idea would have been to take out Healing Head, then Attack Head. And then we just stick it on auto for status buff, debuff head. Oh well, done now. What a bastard. Okay, repel once more. Then brings yellow back. Oh, that tricky bastard. So we don't have the case of... We don't have the case of one head leaves it easier, because then it does Psycho Rage and then buffs itself to attack. Fucking hell. That's a nasty twist. Alright. Definitely doing medkit. Just a power charge. Alright. Transform. Heal. Then throw down an ice spell, see how that works for us. Alright. Damn it. That last head gets trickier. My guess is there's some kind of trick that each head will do if it's the last head. Because taking out Healing Head, then Attacking Head, and leaving Status Buff Head is too simple. Alright, let's rework this. See how this baby goes. It's always the case with a good Shin Megami Tensei boss. Each death is a learning process. If you do it right. Okay, so... Fire repel. Let me see what we got. Fire drain has to be somewhere. This one? Fire drain, Miragion. 25,000. And we have Gale learning it. Alright, give it a grinding to get him to fully learn that. Not a bad idea, because that also negates the healing effect that Fire Repel has on the enemy. Alright. Do a bit of grinding. A little bit of grinding. This room served no purpose, and that does leave me curious. The goal is to have Gale eat as much as possible. Oh, fuck off. Why is it when people are confused, the most common action they'll take is revert? Oh, I actually did the right thing. Good. And try and eat it. Come on. Damn it. Well, it's a death with no casualties at least. Yeah, this is weird. There's a room here with no purpose. Head back. Right, that's a cut-off point. Alright. I wonder if they're immune to hunt skills. Hunt is listed as a separate attribute to physical, but it is still technically physical. Let's find out. Nope. Awesome. My thought would be then that nothing is immune to hunt. Except maybe bosses. Alright. Oh boy. Two guys who My only real option is to just smack them until they're dead. Nice. Alright. You was Zio, weren't you? Yes. Alright. Then Fornius. Yeah, because that's how it's been with every fight against one of those in this place. If there's one of them, it'll be followed by Fornius. Alright, frightened. When they're frightened, consumer attacks do more damage. Consumers... The hunt skills are basically similar to... Morph in Final Fantasy VII. For it to actually take effect, you need it to be the killing blow. If an enemy's frightened, hunt then does more damage, makes it more likely to be the killing blow. I still can't understand why they'd give a pixie Meji-Dolan and then also make sure that she doesn't have enough MP to cast it. It's weird. It's a weird idea. Why give a pixie Meji-Dolan in the first place? Alright. Eat. Damn it. Almost there with Firelord. Get Fire Drain and we'll try this again. Fire. And fire. And then just stick it on auto. God damn it. Thought with the boss, maybe go into it with Recon. Definitely an option. I got Recon in the first place, specifically for boss fights. Take care of the curse. Simplest way doesn't use up resources, and we'll recover that money really quickly. Ooh, hi Pixie. Is this the entire twist of this fight? Because it's weird that it's taken us this long to find that. Yeah, it's cute, but you're very clearly still not an enemy that should be in this area. Weird. I don't get it. Ooh, birds. And then do, oh yeah, we got rid of Mazionga, didn't we? Do another one for you. Gale can eat you. And then finish it. That should put Cielo to full. Will it put Gale to full? Not quite. Alright. Deer, Poison Moody, AD. None of those are what I want yet. I want the next tier. Alright. We could just turn today into a grinding session. Try and get as many of these as we can. Working our way through it all. Everybody has Holy Beast. Working on the money to get this level. 100,000 and we can get it. But if we start spending 100,000 per, that's gonna start burning through the money really quick. Yeah, you know what? We'll turn today into a grinding session. I knew we were going to need to have a second one at some point anyway. Might as well do it now while pulling in a decent amount of money and we're right next to healing spots. And then finish it. Oh, not quite there yet. Alright, magic boost. Maybe I should put Miragion on somebody. And probably put Mazionga back on. These are the thoughts that'll keep you up at night. Fire Lord. Miragion. What level are you expected to end this game at? Anyway. Why do we have AP divide there instead of consume? Ah, okay. If we give everybody that could speed things up really well. Yeah, move away from consumption for a bit. you're not in battle, that doesn't matter. But also not in battle, so that doesn't matter. So if they stack... Do they stack? Let me check if they stack. AP divide. Yeah, this information's... I'm a boner. Alright, I see what's going on. So AP divide is successful hunts doesn't specifically mean after each battle, it means after successfully using a hunt skill. Which means if we use an AP divide, what we want to be doing is having consume with it. That way everybody's still, rather than the character who ate the enemy getting all of it, they get all of it and then everybody else gets some as well. I don't want to do that. Where's Buffalo? There it is. So it's useful, but we need to bear in mind how we use it. And then also, I want to take a look at some of the other stuff. Essentially minimize the grind time. Spell magic, MP, karma or cruel, shared karma, mutual karma. Honor, hide, Atma bonus. So Atma bonus seems to be the one we really want. That's 300,000 per character to learn that. And then whatever this is. Creates a thought. We need to grind anyway. Work this out. Hello to everybody. Hello. Alright, let's do this. Teleport to the other. And walk. Yeah, let's walk back. Check everybody's mantra. Okay, change gales. I need to be paying attention to what you're doing. Don't get sidetracked. want to know specifically what shared karma is. The way this is presented, it suggests that mutual karma is better. Shared karma. Let's finish learning these, I guess, for the minute. Hunt plus physical attack. There. On to the next save point. Is that away? Alright. Don't like these guys. Really don't. It's several things, really. The seeming lack of a distinct weakness, the fact that they keep casting blood curse, and then also the revert capability. 3 of them add up into an enemy I really despise. Pain in the fucking ass. Nice leader. Next heal point is all the way over. Really, over there? No, it's over here. There's still a ways. Well, let's go back. Change our Jilla's. Mantra. Level up everybody's mantra they've got at the minute and then head out. Lightning! Battle Demon's probably going to level up pretty quick. Sky Dragon's almost done. You just learned Bufala. And now you are learning Zionga. Alright. Idea? Keep going. You know, I've seen worse looking sewers. I think the coloration, along with the design of this place, gives off more water level than sewer level. Okay, it is right there. Out of a Mothman. Smack him again. Smack the other one. And try eating it, see where that gets us. Damn. You try eating it. That should be a karma boost. And then also work for everybody. I feel like Atma bonus is the main one to get because that will reduce the amount of time all of it's gonna all the future stuff is gonna take to level up. Of course, the concern with that is since it costs money to learn a new mantra. Since it costs money to learn a new mantra, learning mantras faster means we may run out of money pretty quick, especially as the mantras become more and more expensive. I think that's a pretty legitimate worry. I mean, how to learn out my bonus costs 300,000, and all the stuff, everything it took to get here only has 530,000. So you can see where the dilemma comes from. Oh no, giant bird. Good thing Pokemon taught me that flying is weak to electricity. And how's that gonna do? Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. Devil Feast. Devil Feast. Death sprays, physical and curse, interesting. Damage relative to HP. Fatal, low odds. Okay, and around the corner. Take out Mothman. And again. And then just auto and hit them for everything we can. God damn it. Well, with poison, yeah, that's something. Worked out, I guess. Yeah. Really would appreciate if not running into the exact same fight. And then also immediately having Cielo be confused. Because, okay, I like Cielo, I like what he's capable of. The fact that he's weak to status effects, I don't like. How do you beat electricity? Round it. 10 out of 10. Best one-liner. I'll be here all week. Just kill the damn thing. Jeez. Alright, that's another one. Sweet diorama. Yeah, maybe I should replace Cielo with somebody. Okay, so Heat's weak to ice. Heat and Argilla are falling behind. Stat in level. Okay, work it like this, have this going. So they don't need mutual divide, mutual karma anymore. Assume. Meanwhile, they do need Iron Stomach. So we put that on. Okay, and yeah, we're not really using Zan down here. How's Zionga? No. And set Cielo and Gale replace Iron Stomach with Mutual Karma, so they are still getting the full karma benefits. Did that wrong. Divide, and then swap. There we go. I should let Argilla and Heat catch up in levels as well. Hopefully. Hopefully. Well, let's fix the mantras. Okay. You mastered. And I want Fire Drain. Mastered. You're missing decent earth spells. So learn that. You haven't mastered yet, but you're working on what I want you to. Counter isn't a bad idea. Then presumably this leads to Counter Strike, and it's one above Counter Strike. I never remember what it is, but it's a percent. It's all percentage based. The chances of actually countering. I think Counter is like 25%. Counter Strike is like 50. I'm sure there's one above that. Guess we'll find out. Eventually. One day. Alright. And then you get a Tarazi. And then you have Terra. And then Tarazi. And then just eat it. Probably gonna kill it. There we go. Boosted karma gain, and everybody should get the benefits. 10 out of 10. Master RPG strategist. Oh sweet, Cielo finally learned diorama. I like the idea here of choosing what party characters go down to learn stuff, as opposed to just like just leveling up, constantly leveling up. Constantly leveling up and just taking what you get. Oh yeah, no, I did take diorama off there for a reason. But I should leave it on Cielo because we want the character healing us to not be in the party. That way we're not wasting MP on it. Good ideas. Good ideas with mecha-chrono in RPGs. Learn to play RPGs with mecha-chrono. You'll probably still be bad at them by the time my class is over. The diorama is useful, but price. That's gotta be Diaharan. Then me Diaharan? Acquiring revive. I see. How do you learn fire drain? Okay, what haven't you learned? Right, you were already at Bolt Emperor when you came with us. You already had Mazionga. Because you stupidly went way too specialised. Death. Spell. Hamon. Boost magic. Marine Karen, one of my least favourite skills in every regard. Hate it when it works, and it never works often enough for the party to be justified in using it. Tarakaja and Makaja. I need to look through these more often. Let's go with Earth. Alright. Take the opportunity to save and start heading to the next point. Okay. So the way it was set, AP Divide isn't a stackable ability. The idea of AP Divide is whoever is equipped with it shares the Atma points they get for eating an enemy. But they don't lose any of the Atma points they get for that. They get 100%, but everybody else also gets some. That's the point of it. Alright. Just attack this one, that's a guaranteed crit. Eat this one. And then heat should be strong enough to finish this. Nope. Wasted two. Good work, me. I'll autos up. Where does that lead? Oh yeah, the dead end save point that was weird. Alright. I think none of us are weak to electricity. Alright, so Earth on Mothman. Cup of tea is quite nice tonight. I ever level my luck stat? Nope, still at 4. 5, 3, 16, 30, 4. Alright. This way, wasn't it? Yes. Alright, just keep moving. Just keep moving.
Come on, your ass is mine.
Because that's part of her demon design, see? How you doing? If you look at everybody's demon design, none of them are what you could call conventional. Like how Gale's tall head actually opens up like that, and that's his mouth. Or Cielo has wings with just hands on the end of them. Of course, there's also Heat's 2 mouths without eyes. That's actually a common thing. None of the demon forms have eyes. None of the embryon demon forms, anyway. Unless Cielo's does, and I've just forgotten. Oh well. Better remember to heal after this battle. Alright, keep heading forward. And another save point there, but nobody's hit the next Marjorie yet. Okay, and you get thrown. You get it. I just hit that one. Though because Heat doesn't have Tarazi yet, he's still stuck on Terra. So Earth Temple's close to being done. But is it close? Why is Nintendo sending me advertisements via email about Animal Crossing New Horizons? The game's been out for like 2 months. What is the thought that, oh, I didn't buy it yet, so I must not know about it? How you doing, Ninja? Oh, well, since we've seen you. How you doing, buddy? It's like, okay, so there is no playtime of Animal Crossing New Horizons on my account. Could that be because I've not heard of it? Because it's like the only Nintendo game I'm seeing advertised on TV at the minute. That's good to know, Ninja. Well, I'm not seeing any other video games advertised on TV. Anytime a Switch advert pops up, it's Animal Crossing. How you doing, Clem? Nintendo thinks me with my noted dislike of Animal Crossing. How do they get me to buy it? Just tell me it exists. Yeah, no, that'll change my mind. Totally. 10 out of 10 marketing strategy. Organising a case. I'm okay. The idea for today has gone from proceeding the story to grind. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, if you do pre-order that, Zeke, let me know how it is. I'm mildly curious. Only mildly. To be fair, I'm actually debating Paper Mario. I want to get actual solid opinions on it first, though. Because after Sticker Star and Color Splash, I don't trust Nintendo to actually put out a decent Paper Mario game. Grinding Day. In fact, I was like this close to winning the boss. Got it down to its last head. Because it's a three-headed dog. Killed two of its heads, and then the third head completely changes strategies and says no. And while I might have a strategy for it, I also decided, you know what, let's do grinding. Well, there's your problem, Teak. Oh, you bastard. Currently, the only ones you can buy are none of them. None of the old ones are available on current generation systems. I mean, if you still got your Wii U... Is the Wii U eShop still up? You could get the original through there. Oh no, it's not an issue because, you know, there are ways. But I don't like how many games just aren't available to purchase. How many games that are really good just aren't available to purchase. There are ways of making you talk. Probably should have healed there. God damn it.
You got nothing and nothing's got you. I can see your fear and surround you. Nothing's trying inside, but it's not enough. But your chicken to finish your every move.
Specifically the Cerberus version of Suffer was one of my favourite tracks from the MC3 at one point. Probably should have turned auto off. Yeah, we just saved. Like, just... like, less than 5 minutes ago. I think this is the first part we've gone into since saving. I don't know, Virgil 2 is really good. Yeah. And I am quite fond of Nevin's battle music. I do really like that. Yeah, Super Paper Mario is actual Paper Mario. Super Paper Mario is also pretty good. I think Nevin is probably the easiest boss to figure out, like, pattern-wise. That's the thing, like, Cerberus gave me trouble when I was younger, and sometimes still does. Agni and Rudra. Because Nevin is, like, the only boss that keeps her distance and gives you a chance to breathe. Every other boss is on you. So I think that's like the big difference with it. Fucking hate Blood Curse. You know, I would have thought if you managed to get to Nevern Ninja that you were actually prepared for it. There we go, Tarazi. Well, I suppose if you can't really figure out how to avoid the attack that lightnings the floor, I'm still not entirely sure what the solution for that is when you play as Virgil, because Virgil's summon swords don't let you stay in the air like Dante's guns do. Alright, let's just head back to the save point. It's right here. Well, it's the thing I've said before with Devil May Cry. It's a weird conundrum of the worse you do, the harder the game's going to be because you also get less for it. The better you do, like using less items, spending less money on items and stuff like that, the more orbs you get, and then the more orbs you have for more moves. The better you do, the easier the game makes itself. If you get what I'm saying. The way the rewards work out really does hurt if you're not good at the game. It's one thing that's kind of irritating about Devil May Cry 4 and the way that gives out its rankings. Be fast, but then also find as many of the hidden orbs in the level as you can. That's dumb. We need to get back to doing Devil May Cry at some point. I want to finish off the stuff we've currently got going. But I do want to get back to that whole idea I had of, like, history of hack and slash. Well, stylish isn't necessarily the problem. The trick with style, especially from 3 onwards, has always been, like, mix it up between, like, 3 combos. And in the end, that's all you really need. Mix it up between 3 combos, which can be standard combo, second combo. It's like triangle, 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 then triangle, pause, triangle, triangle, and then do the launcher, and then do the air combo, and then repeat, and your style meter will just keep going. Changing weapons is also a really easy way of doing it. I like that Devil May Cry 5 lets you choose a loadout, because there were some weapons I just wasn't into. I never got into King Cerberus in DMC5. It never worked for me. Meanwhile, I was all over Balrog, and Cavalier was kind of interesting. Like my punchy weapons. Yeah, we just keep going. I wish Cavalier let you ride around more on it. I think that would have been neat. I felt like there were a few problems with actually distinguishing different style of attacks between specific weapons. It's like, okay, so you start with Dancing with the Rebellion, and then you end up with the Sparda, and the Sparda has a very similar moveset to the Rebellion, but also slightly different, and that was off-putting. Like, that was the worst part. I can understand that, but again, like you said with King Cerberus, not on its own. Never use Cavalier on its own. Yeah. Honestly, I was kind of disappointed with just the introduction of the Cerberus idea, because in what little pre-release material I saw, I was like, oh, Cerberus weapon. Like, cool. Are they bringing back some of the old Devil May Cry Devil Arms? Are we going to get actual Cerberus again? And it wasn't. It was a different weapon. Hello, Philip. Welcome to the stream, buddy. So that was a little disappointing. I mean, Balrog's cool. Not really a reason you couldn't have just had Beowulf, though. Could have brought back, like, anything. We're just grinding at the minute. The boss in a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to level up some more mantras, make everybody a little more ready for it. You know what? No, don't give a Z for it. I say Beowulf. Rising Dragon into Starfall, come on. Oh yeah, no, Lupa does look pretty cool. Oh, Ifrit is like the lamest of the fist weapons. If we were gonna go with Flame, I'm happier with Balrog. No, I'm a fan of the series. I'll admit, I like the style change between Fist with Balrog to Kicks. I think that's really neat. Yeah, no, I'm a fan of the series. I've done a bunch of them before. It's been a long time since I've been through Digital Devil Saga, though. I think in the same sense, Alistair is lame compared to Rebellion. I do like Balrog. I love Balrog's kick style moves. And with Balrog specifically switching between punch and kick, it means everything barring the switch move. Everything barring the switch move gets to be its own unique attack. So Balrog basically has a double moveset, which is really neat. Yeah, it's a point. Balrog, yeah. Alistair is basically just the standard sword, but with Devil Trigger and Lightning. Ah, shit. Bible 3, Last Bible 3. When the last I heard of the Last Bible series, Last Bible 2 had been translated. I don't know about Last Bible 3 though. Yeah, I've never really done the Game Boy Color stuff. I took a look at Revelation's Demon Slayer once and then never really did anything with it. Wow, that trek is actually a lot shorter when you're just going straight forward and not going down all the alternate paths. Oh, 3's on Super Nintendo. That's fair enough. Yeah, because Sparta still has the moveset in DMC 1, but then it also has the range, added range and stuff. It's pretty neat. Yeah, that was disappointing. I never liked that. It has a specific devil trigger that they just never let you use. Nah. I still need to go through Shin Megami Tensei If. If I translated that, I got it, and I've just not done anything with it. Yeah, during the fight with Mundus. Because he should have been the one to fill the Dark Soul with light, light. Like, you gotta try and get, if you quote the line, you've got to try and get the voice break in there, but also the echo. You know, I feel that way about a few of the Megatens myself. It's like Lucifer's Call, or Nocturne, it's called Lucifer's Call over here. Fantastic game, but playing it can be so infuriating sometimes. You mean the one sword in Devil May Cry 2? At the very least, if is worth checking out, if only for its status as the precursor to Persona. The one sword with many forms. You mean the Sparda? No, we don't mean the Sparda. There we go. 2 mantras. Alright. Yeah, no, we don't need anything off you. I'll definitely agree with that. One of the best things about Twitch and YouTube and people playing video games is you can always find somebody playing something. I suppose the big trick is finding somebody who's entertaining playing the things you want to see. Because there's always somebody playing something, but are they enjoyable to watch? Yeah. I do want to level up Eating Argilla some more. And I said today can be pretty much entirely grinding. And I want to do like an hour and a half of grinding and then do the story. Let's do more grind. Let's go the opposite way. Alright. Oh, top 3 characters in the series. You mean player characters or just characters? I always love the audacity of Lucifer disguising himself, but then never really changing his name. In general. It's like with the, it's like, oh, Lucifer. How can you tell who Lucifer is? It's like, oh, meet this guy, Louis Cypher. He knows more than he really should. And then, of course, there's also Louisa Fair in Strange Journey, which, oh shit. That might be a problem. Hey, don't do Earth. Hey, just punch them. Definitely take her out before she actually does an attack. Give me a problem if she keeps doing that. The thing is, like, The only time I've seen Lucifer actually be subtle in his disguise was in Shin Megami Tensei 4. You'll never guess who Lucifer is in Shin Megami Tensei 4 when you play it, because he's actually being subtle. It's wonderful. But it's essentially the equivalent of if you've ever watched the 60s Batman movie, and the Penguin has bought a decommissioned nuclear submarine using the pseudonym P.N. Gwyn. And it's like, seriously? The audacity of it is amazing, and I love it. It's just amazing. And Jump from P2. I do feel like Persona 2 is very underrated. The duology should get a re-release outside of the PSP. To be fair, like, Batman's on the phone, so the place that sold the sub is like P.N. Gwyn, and Robin is like, the Penguin! In that traditional 60s way that Robin was. And then spends the rest of the call speaking to the person he's talking to like they're a moron. Especially since the Penguin didn't leave an address to contact him by, just a PO box number. Yeah, Persona 2 definitely should get some kind of re-release outside the PSP. Maybe bring out Eternal Punishment in the West, in the remake of Eternal Punishment in the West as well. But, right, what do we got? That's a pick, son. A lot of the characters in mainline Shin Megami Tensei don't tend to have much character, which is why it makes sense that you went for Persona. I do like Aikichi in Persona 2. I like how Nate grows in Persona 1. Tokyo Revelation. Oof. I haven't thought about that in a long time. I like Akihiko. Akihiko is good. He gets some character growth. One of my problems with Persona Q, that it boiled all of the characters down to 2 basic traits, and that was their entire character. But if we talk mainline SMT, I like Dante's portrayal in, like, connecting the Devil May Cry and the Shin Megami Tensei talk. I like Dante's portrayal in Lucifer's Call. That's really good. And then the fact that they keep his DMC2 design but give him his DMC1 personality I really like. Because the DMC2 design's really good. I like Hikawa's introduction in Lucifer's Call. Persona Q wouldn't bother me so much if it wasn't for the fact that every character has just the one character trait, the 2 character traits. It's like I started Persona Q and I went with the Persona 3 team because I felt like Persona 4 had been overdone by that point, which it had. It's like Akihiko's entire personality is boiled down to protein and training, and that's all he talks about, ever. And then you meet the Persona 4 team, and Chie, all she ever talks about is eating meat and kung fu. And it's like, these were nuanced characters. You don't have to carry all the nuance, but for the love of God, give them more than two things to talk about all the time. I never finished Persona Q because I got sick of the writing. But I really like the gameplay in Persona Q, and that is what put me onto the Etrian Odyssey series. I thought the gameplay was really good, but I didn't like the story and the characters, so I just started playing Etrian Odyssey instead, and it was really good. Yeah, I like Hikawa's introduction. Very low-key state. The fact that he recognizes that you can do nothing to stop him, but doesn't want to take any chances with it. I like that. I think a lot of Hikawa's actual characterization is really good. But, of course, the big problem with actually picking favourite characters from the main series is so little actual characterization goes on in the grand scheme. At least before SMT4. I liked Walter in SMT4. I didn't think he was as blatant as Jonathan was. Because it was always the case, the box art gives it away that Jonathan is going to be the law hero and Walter will be chaos hero. But Walter's character doesn't give it doesn't give it away as obviously as Jonathan's character does. I like Isabeau as well. Isabeau is actually pretty good. Especially the fact that if you go for anything but neutral or nothingness, she will stand up to you. I like that as an idea. Alright, we'll still be here when you get back, Ninja. SMT4 is so good. I saw a thing, I think it was yesterday. Isabeau's great. But how could you possibly go for law or chaos when you had to kill her to do either? You know what? Lilith is a good point. The boob route. No, Lilith's a good point. I liked Lilith's characterization, and it was a lot more subtle than usual. As I woke up yesterday, and I went on Facebook, and I was still a little groggy. But like, the main thing I use Facebook for at this point is specifically for video game news. It's basically, I use it as a hub for video game news. So I go onto Facebook yesterday and I see, like, bear in mind I'm still kind of groggy, Shin Megami Tensei Switch. But they can just forbid them. The writing in SMT4 is really good. It's like, I see Shin Megami Tensei Switch. It's like, oh shit, we finally got SMT5 news? No, Nintendo is finally adding more games to the Switch Online, and they're adding Shin Megami Tensei 1 to it exclusively in Japan. One day Atlas will actually give us some news about SMT5. I think it's the first time you find Lilith in SMT4, and she just sicks a horde of Lilim on you. And I really like that as an idea because it is so incredibly practical. Last thing, did you ever see the mobile ports of Shin Megami Tensei, I think 1 and 2, on Android? You can get them in the West, with the warning that they are completely untranslated. Okay. I really wanna do specifically Shin Megami Tensei 1 on PlayStation. But there's no fan translation for it, which is a shame. The general consensus seems to be that the Super Nintendo version's been fan translated, so I played the Super Nintendo version, but everything I've seen says that the PlayStation version is a superior port. Yeah, the iOS port was translated, from what I'm aware. But after that, like, I can get it on my phone, actually. Probably still available on Android. No, it doesn't look like it is. It was there at one point. It was there at one point that you could get Shin Megami Tensei 1 and I think 2. You could get them on Android. And they would just, the Japanese versions, they released the Japanese versions in the West and just put a warning on them that they weren't translated. Oh, easy mode would be nice. Yeah, having actual 3D movement for the first-person dungeon sections is pretty good. I feel like, despite... I feel like the pseudo 3D they went with for the dungeons doesn't work that well, even compared to something like the original Phantasy Star on Master System. I feel like that works better. Like, visually, it's not as disorienting. Wait for it. Damn it. Yeah, it doesn't matter what SMT game it is, I despise Mudo and Hammer. Yes. There we go. Yeah, I never liked Mudo or Hammer. Such a pain to deal with. Or you might die. And often nothing you can do about it. I really wish they'd stop throwing me up against these guys. I feel like now would probably be like the perfect time for Atlas to re-release the original games in English. Like, looking at what Square did with the Collection of Mana, they fully translated Seiken Densetsu 3 and released a collection of mana in the West, which was great. It was a very impressive thing. In the past, chances are the kind of thing that would have happened with that if we got collection of mana in the West was they would have just taken Seiken Densetsu 3 out, but they didn't. They straight up fully translated it, and it's really good. And I feel like Atlas could probably make a good amount of bank by doing, like, making a Shin Megami Tensei collection. Maybe having the PS1 versions ported of 1, 2, and If. And maybe throw in Soul Hackers, that's what it was. I knew there was another Mega 10 game on PS1 that wasn't Persona. Like, throw in Soul Hackers with it. 4-game collection on there. And throw it out on Switch and PS4 and Xbox, because why shouldn't Xbox have it? And translate them all. I think it could be really good. I never did finish Soul Hackers. Just kind of lost interest. Watch out for Blood Curse, it's a nasty spell. It's to finally figured out how it works. Okay, pass. Okay. Well, that says something. We need to learn. We need to learn the ability to deal with curse, because we're burning through this curse too much. Burning through too many disc curses. It's remaining a problem, and we can't go back to the shop. So we need somebody to learn how to deal with curse. It's the only way forward. What mantra is it? If you're learning Ogre, you should have learned... Yeah, you've got Tarazi now, just not put it on you. Jeez. There it is, it's the 100,000 one. Alright. I guess somebody's learning it. Also, I really should have put Tarazi on here. on. Do teleport, yeah. Alright. Yeah, I probably should have restored before I saved. Yeah, well. Yeah, if curse proves to be a continuing problem, something we should deal with. Can't rely on discurse forever. Alright, there we go. Double slash counter first strike. Counter is something that might actually be pretty useful. Light damage, low odds. Counter strike is the one that we're after at least. Maybe the level above that, which I still can't remember. Death blow, power charge, void fizz. Void fizz, fuck, that'd be useful. $20 MP. Yeah, learn that. Voiding physical and then negating fire. You know, I just realised no, that isn't actually a good idea for this upcoming fight. Doing both Void Fizz and Fire Repel or Fire Drain leaves us with one person actually attacking and a bunch of MP being burned. Oh well. Guess we'll have to make use out of it sometime. Somewhere down the road. And just smack him. It was a nice cup of tea. There we go. Kind of a shame that the best system for playing Shin Megami Tensei games right now is probably a toss-up between the PS2 or the 3DS. Well, the PS2 has Lucifer's Call, Visual Devil Saga 1 and 2, the two Devil Summoner games, Persona 3 and Persona 4. While the 3DS has Persona Q 2, Devil Survivor 2, Strange Journey Redux, Shin Megami Tensei 4, 4 Apocalypse, and Soul Hackers. God damn it. Oh, that works out. It's really disappointing that Nintendo hasn't put out something like the Super Game Boy or the Game Boy Player since the Game Boy Player. Like, they've never done anything for that, like, with DS or the 3DS. Which is a shame, because I'd be all over it if they did. You know, that'd actually be a really good idea. Some kind of... Like, you've got the FGPA clone consoles for the Super Nintendo, the NES, and the Mega Drive. And Analog is coming out with one for the Game Boy, and the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Advance. It's like, if they did something like that for the DS or the 3DS, that would be really good. Well, that's what I'm saying. I give you some way to do that. Like the Game Boy player. Hey Chansum, how you doing, buddy? Been playing this for a while. We were doing this on Sunday and Tuesday. We just keep playing it. Because I don't feel like going back to Fatal Frame. It's nice to see people stopping in the Shin Megami Tensei though. Not doing too bad. We're grinding at the minute. We have the Looper boss fight coming up, and we've died to it twice. So we're just grinding at the minute. Probably would be cost prohibitive. The big problem is implementation of some kind of touchscreen controls. That's probably the main thing holding it back. But it is nice to see people stopping in for Shin Megami Tensei, because that so rarely happens. And for it to happen twice in one stream is really good. Probably just better off attacking them. She summons Queen Mab. Can't believe how long it took us to actually see this whole situation. That's good stuff. Good stuff. It's nice when it actually works. I think I have a couple of game categories followed, but then Twitch never actually really notifies me of anything with them. Yeah, I think the Wii U was probably the best option. Like, if they'd put some kind of... Instead of the Virtual Console for DS, if they'd put some kind of peripheral for it so you could just put your physical games in. And, like, some way to connect with the 3DS store. So, like, you can still get your digital downloads with 3DS. I think that would have been the best idea. Sweet. Alright, there's one stunned, one frightened, and one who just didn't want to play ball. So you have a higher magic stat, you lightning that guy. And you have the good physical, so you eat that guy. 10 out of 10, one turn victory. that's the thing, like, with the Wii U Virtual Console, you can do that. It has DS support, but it's a limited number of DS games, and you can hack the Wii U to expand that, but there's still a bunch that won't work for it. You can. But the limit, how limited it is kind of a problem. A lot of good stuff just wasn't released on the Virtual Console. Okay, what are we after? Alright, let's throw down 300,000. I hope I don't regret that. But it's like the DS and the 3DS both have a bunch of great Shin Megami Tensei games. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it until we end up with some way to do it. I'd love to be able to stream Shin Megami Tensei 4. It's a fantastic game. Or Strange Journey Redux. And it's a shame the 3DS capture system, one, isn't available anymore. 2 was so expensive. 3 required hard modding your system. Like, ugh. I started Apocalypse and lost interest, honestly. It didn't hold me like 4 did. But if you've never done the original Strange Journey, Redux should be good for you. The original Strange Journey was my second Megaten game, and was probably the one that really got me into the series. And Redux is that, but more accessible and with extra content. I should keep working these. Just looking over the shoulder. No, Strange Journey is good. And its story really drew me in. Fine collection. If I ever did anything like that, I'd have to get a some sort of prenup idea for that, because my collection is bigger than anybody I'll meet. It's not a bad choice for a first SMT. It's a little more forgiving than Lucifer's Call is or Nocturne in the US. I think Strange Journey Redux is probably better for it, with the ability to save anywhere, which is something that the original should have had because it's a handheld. I was saying, like, did you see the exploit that was found recently that you can see Wii U games and 3DS games on the Switch eShop? I was seeing that, I was thinking, like, you know, if Nintendo just made the Switch backwards compatible with the Wii U, there'd be so much going on there with that that'd be worth it. Oof. That's a hard blow. So that's a lot of games to lose. Basically what it was, if you go onto the Nintendo website and through the Nintendo website add a Wii U game or a 3DS game to your wish list, you'll be able to view it through your wish list on the Switch. Trying to purchase those games, though, will crash your Switch. Or it crashes the eShop. It's an interesting exploit that was found recently, and Game Explain did a video on it specifically. to point out this is what it is. Don't believe anything you see, any images you see of stuff like Super Mario 3D World on the Switch eShop, because they're not true. Yeah, it's basically a bug. Thanks for the follow, Chansum. It's really just a bug, yeah. But like, it made me think, like, if the Switch was backwards compatible with the Wii U, like, not with the discs, because where would you put the disc? And a handheld running discs, we all learned how bad an idea that was with the PSP. But like digitally, I think that would be a cool idea, and we could stop paying full price for ports of Wii U games to the Switch. It's just a facade. I'm really not cool. I would have thought the Nintendo 64 had to give that away. But we appreciate the follow, and Shin Megami Tensei is something we do a bunch. So hopefully you'll find it worth following. Well, that's the thing. Digital copies being the same price as physical is the biggest sack of bullshit. Because they should be less. There's no production cost for producing discs or cartridges, manufacturing, distribution, shipping, handling. All of that's gone. So it's cheaper to actually put out a digital copy. But the fact that they're the same price as the physical is ridiculous. And then the fact there are publishers putting out games on the Switch for higher price points than other systems. We were talking about this, I think it was Tuesday, Bayonetta. Like, buying Bayonetta digitally on its own on Switch, and not getting it as a bundle with Bayonetta 2. Buying just the first one is more expensive on Switch than it is to buy the 10th anniversary Bayonetta Vanquish bundle on PS4 or Xbox One. To be fair, the only reason I buy physical these days is because it's cheaper than digital. It's the only reason. Because physical will drop in price, digital doesn't. Of course, the exception there is when it's a Nintendo game. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, the 10th anniversary edition of Bayonetta on PS4 and Switch, on PS4 and Xbox One, actually performs better than Switch as well. The only thing you get in extra with Switch is the ability to play portable, which I don't know why you'd want to play Bayonetta on the Joy-Cons. I can't understand why you'd want to do that. And also the Nintendo costumes, which, while cool, I don't want to pay an extra amount for. I can understand that. It's a very slippery slope. And it's not helped, in Nintendo's case, by the Switch cartridges being more expensive to produce than Blu-rays. But then there's also the case of digital-only games. Why is Devil May Cry 3 £16, I think? When you can buy the HD collection on PS4 digitally for $25. It was only last month. Last month, might have been last week. Capcom reduced the price of all the Resident Evil games on Switch to match the price on other consoles. I think match the price, but they've definitely gone down in price. So if you're in the US, the Resident Evil games on Switch now are $20 as opposed to the $30 they launched at and were at for over a year. That's an interesting thing, actually. It came out over the weekend, I think it was, that Nintendo in Europe isn't going to be allowing third-party sales of digital their first-party games digitally anymore. That might have been last week. I spoke to you about it, Teak. I don't think we saw eye to eye on it. So in Europe, it's like, okay, you want to get a digital version of a Nintendo game, and you had places like Shop 2 who were offering them for £40 as opposed to the standard retail price of £50. Which is good. Is good stuff. And Nintendo's still getting the money because you know they had the Shop 2 has to pay something to get those codes. And you're getting a lower price. So I bought Fire Emblem Three Houses from Shop 2, and it's an official retailer. It's not like CD Keys or G2A. It's an official retailer. And I bought a few first-party Nintendo games there because they were just cheaper than buying them on the store. I got Fire Emblem Three Houses, £40 instead of £50. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, £40 instead of £50. Well, that's been GameStop's problem for years, hasn't it? That they make the majority of their money through pre-owned, which is why they push pre-owned as hard as they can. And also subscription services. What is it, like GameStop membership thing? Power, whatever? Yeah, GameStop Power, whatever. I'm pretty sure that's the name for it. I have another sneeze just like right there, and it's bothering me now. Because it's like right there and it won't come out. I'm surprised GameStop's held on as long as it has, and the same is true over here with Game. But then there's also the case of, like, even 10 years ago, Game wasn't somewhere I went to buy games unless there was nowhere else that had what I wanted. Because Game just generally charged more than everybody else. Why I'd always go somewhere like Game Station instead, until they bought that and shut it down. And why I went to Granger Games until that shut down. Yeah, God, that's really disappointing thing since Granger Games shut down. The only dedicated game retailer we have now is Game. It's like, imagine if the only retailer you ever had for games now, that specifically sold games, was... Fuck, I didn't pay attention there. I imagine if the only retailer you had for buying games, stuff like that, was... GameStop, and that was it, that was all you had, there was no alternative. And that's kind of where we're at. It's also irritating for the second-hand retro market. I mean, I've got a retro shop that I do frequent. I haven't been into actually in months because of the whole lockdown thing. But that's like a local store. That's not a chain. Yeah. Like it was the fallout of Toys R Us shutting down. There was a lack of investors, and so the place just went belly up, and it's really a shame. Yeah, that definitely wouldn't help. It's unfortunate, especially because generally the company is such a piece of shit. Well, Amazon is like the only reliable place for this stuff now. Like, it's the only truly reliable place. Reliable. Reliable. There we go, it worked better. Like, it's the best place for a lot of this stuff, especially if you're trying to do retro marketing. For fuck's sake, Heat, she got a critical and you've wasted it. Oh, there's a high pixie, Heat. Magma. Yeah. It's like to support Amazon less because Amazon, but there's really just no alternative, and it's the horrible thing. It's like Shop 2 is a good thing. If I'm pre-ordering a game, I'll pre-order from Shop 2. Partly because Shop 2 does the whole thing of price matching and... Why am I doing Tarazi? And often, like, grab the pre-order early enough, it'll be at a decent, like, good price lower than standard retail. And they'll keep it at that price. They'll keep it at the price you pre-ordered at. If it ever drops below the price you pre-ordered at, then they'll lower it. It's good stuff. And every time I pre-ordered from them, the game has arrived a day early. So that's nice. I bought Resident Evil 3 this year. If we're talking physical, Resident Evil 3. Before that... might have been Resident Evil 2. Year before. And then before that was Smash. Although with Smash, like with Resident Evil 2 and 3, it was a case of I want to play it as early as possible to avoid spoilers and shit. With Smash, it was a case of this is the best price I'm going to get it at if I pre-order it here. And it's never going to drop in price. And then it didn't drop in price. Yeah, I've not bought Final Fantasy VII Remake. For various reasons. The way I've been for a while now, for a good few years, is like my backlog's huge and it just keeps growing. It isn't helped by me playing old games. New at release. Like, it's not helped by me by playing old games instead of going through the backlog. But, like, at this point, I generally wait for something to be on sale digitally for a price I want to pay. And that's when I buy it. Part of that is like a lack of actual physical space. Got something new on Amazon recently. Only 10 o'clock. Yeah, part of that is down to like a lack of physical space, and when I'm picking up old games, a bunch of them just aren't available digitally you've got to get the physicals, so like if I can make the room while keeping the game, digital is basically the way it's got to be. Yeah, no backloggery. I was using it and it didn't help. So now, like, the main thing I use to try and push through the backlog is the stream. The game we're supposed to be doing at the minute, that I haven't done before, is Project Zero, known as Fatal Frame in the US. And I decided I didn't want to play that today because the combat is bad and I didn't want to play the combat. Hey, I have like a whole list. There's also the thing of, like, I started putting my stuff into backloggery, and it just kept getting longer and longer and longer. I'd never even finished putting my stuff into backloggery. There's a point you reach when it's like, oh, okay, my backlog is over 500 games now. Maybe I should stop putting these down because it's clearly not going to help. Yeah, the game we're supposed to be going through at the minute is Fatal Frame, Project Zero. And I've just been kind of putting it off because I've not been enjoying the combat. Alright, let me see if I can kill this one quickly. If I can find the weakness, I can prevent this later. Pixie ran away, High Pixie summons Mab. Oh, it's not that. And the main thing really... Okay, I'll just punch you. And the main thing with Project Zero is, like, the story is interesting. It's not all that scary anymore. But the combat is too much. And, like, it keeps putting the combat out, and it's not enjoyable. They keep putting more of it out. And it's really detracting from the atmosphere. The game isn't scary anymore because we're dealing with the combat, and the combat isn't great. It's a shame because the whole mystery of the ritual that's going on is actually kind of interesting. How much cash are we on? It's going to be a thing, like, we've had for a little while now votes going on what the next blind playthrough would be. It's why we're doing Project Zero. I don't remember what the vote was, what else was in that. I think Police Noughts was in that vote, and that didn't win. I was hoping it would, it didn't. But we've got another vote going on at the minute for the game I do after Project Zero. I think American McGee's Alice is currently winning that. After that, I think I'm going to take a break from doing the vote and just play something that I want to play. Which I think is going to be Ninja Gaiden Black. There we go. Because I never finished the original Ninja Gaiden in any of its forms, and I have Ninja Gaiden Black now. Void Physical. specific ability that may not ever get some use, but it might get some use at some point. I mean, hell, there was one boss in Persona 5 that I only actually beat because I had a persona that nullified physical attacks, and the boss only used physical. The furthest I've got with Ninja Gaiden is on Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus, which is the Vita version. Attack All would be pretty good, but it could also be a pain with enemies on the field that nullify physical. Physical repels neat. That's an ability for later, definitely. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus, the Vita version, the furthest I got with that might have been like mission 6. You know, it might have been one of the Rachel missions I just stopped playing it with. But then Sigma has the Rachel missions anyway. They were added for Sigma. In the original version and in Black, you never play as Rachel. If you haven't got a PS4 yet, it might be worth holding off. Persona 4 Golden coming out on PC recently creates a thought that maybe Atlus will put more of their games on PC and just other platforms. There's also the possibility that with Sony talking about backwards compatibility on the PS5, there's the possibility that Persona 5 Royal might be one of those. So it may just be worth holding off on it for now. The problem with the backwards compatibility is like a lack of actual clear definition of what it's going to be. I saw a thing today saying that Sony has patented some sort of way of playing PS1, 2, and 3 games via streaming, which I thought they'd already done with PlayStation Now. I thought that was the whole point of that. You know, probably will. So the PS5 will be the big thing that people are after. And there'll be a bunch of people getting rid of PS4s. You might be able to pick up a PS4 Pro cheap. Who knows? Whether or not the Pro's worth it over the base model is entirely up to you. Alright. Well, that's definitely the thing. Like, the PS1 being playable on PS3, good idea. It's weird that they've not implemented that in some way into PS4. It'll be weird if they don't do it in PS5. Weird and disappointing. PS2 and PS3, I can kind of understand the problem. As much as the idea is desirable, the PS2 and the PS3 are bastards of architecture design. It's not just that the Blu-rays. PS4 wouldn't necessarily be as much of a problem. The PS4 was designed to be easy to develop for, in very similar architecturally to PC, so that you could get as much over as possible. The PS2 and the PS3 are massive pains. It's why a bunch of developers just kind of stopped developing for the PS3 over the 360. It's also why a bunch of games that are on both play worse on PS3. Like, Bayonetta is undeniably worse on PS3. Because it's a 360 game that was then ported over to the PS3 problematically. There's also the thought that, like, if the PS2 hadn't clear in a way won that generation very early on, chances are developers would have just started dropping it because of how awkward it was to actually develop for. And it's why actually doing PS2 emulation through any method other than physical hardware is such a problem. Yeah, Bayonetta on PS3 is like the worst version. It was at the point where there were loading screens in its original launch. The loading times were so bad you would have a loading screen to pause the game. Sony themselves eventually released a patch to allow you to install it to your hard drive to cut down on load times. But even then, like, the frame rate was worse, the texture quality was worse. The PS3 version was just the worst. Let's not forget the problems Skyrim had on PS3 at launch. The problems that Bethesda swore didn't exist when they did. Like, the PS3 had several failings over the 360. And I think is because you could argue maybe the PS3 won that generation, but it's whichever console won, it's not as clear a gap as the PS2 had over the GameCube and the 360. It's not as clear a gap as the PS2 had over the GameCube and the original Xbox, and it's not as big a gap as the PlayStation had over the Saturn or Nintendo 64. It was a lot closer, so Sony figured, like, if Microsoft pulls off another thing like this in the next generation with the Xbox One, Sony could be in serious trouble. So Sony specifically made their hardware a lot easier to develop for. A lot more PC based, I guess you could say. Part of it is down to arrogance, really. As the leading console manufacturers always had a degree of arrogance. Nintendo was arrogant in the NES days, into the Super Nintendo days, and of course into the Nintendo 64 days, and that bit them in the arse because the PlayStation wiped the floor with it, and Nintendo were like, well, I guess we gotta do something different. And they did the GameCube, but then the GameCube also didn't do great. Which is why they stopped trying to compete on the same level and did the Wii. And then the Wii did a lot for them. But the arrogance that was there was gone. Sega was weirdly arrogant for some reason. With the Saturn. And the Saturn was a pain to develop for. It's a similar thing with the PlayStation 2. Like how the PS2 is such a problem to emulate for, in any regard. The Saturn, I think, was worse. I think we're at the point now where you can probably emulate the PS2 better than you can emulate the Saturn. Because the Saturn's hardware was just so weird and convoluted. It could pull out good stuff if you knew how to do it. Nobody knew how to do it. Well, after Sony kind of knocked off the high horse with the 360, which did way better than, like, looking at the previous generation, way better than anybody would have expected. Sony, like, decided to really think about what they were doing with the PS4. So I think you probably get like decent PS4 playability on PS5 fairly simply compared to PS3 or PS2. Not a bad idea. Anyway, back to the mantras. You know what? Snatcher is actually... Like, if we... Like, here's the poll for the next game to play after Project Zero. Snatcher is on there. It's the Sega CD version now. Which is the only version that was released in English. I've never played it before, but boy do I want to. I'm not saying you have to vote, but like Snatcher is actually coincidentally on there. Was Snatcher on the site? I could believe Snatcher was on the site, and it was on a bunch of things. But its only English release was the Sega CD. It's like the holy grail of Sega CD collection now. The CD. I say it might be on the Saturn. I know we got a PlayStation port. But the only English version is Sega CD. Like the holy grail of Sega CD collections. I think behind that is maybe something like Luna. Maybe Luna Eternal Blue. It's the weird thing, like Police Notes was released on a few things, but never got an actual English release. Apparently there was one in the works, but they couldn't figure out, like they couldn't get the dubbing right on the lip flaps. And what would that have been, like 96, 97? Not at a time where you could really ask people to read subtitles while Japanese was going on. Although what you could have done was just muted the voices entirely and put subtitles out for that, and people would have probably bought it. 88, really? Is that old? Look at this. You just keep hitting them. Wow, I did not realise it was that old. I know it first released on one of those Japanese PC systems that I don't think ever saw release in the West, but I did not realise it came out in 88. Oh wow. Sweet, eat that one as well. 16 colours. 88, 16 colours. What else is in 88? AGI? VGA was like early 90s, wasn't it? Oh, thanks for the vote, Jansen. CGA, maybe? CG... What the fuck is AGI, and then what was after AGI? It was something between AGI and VGA. I can't remember what it was. Look into this. There's be one of the King's Quest games. Say King's Quest 4. 88. It runs on AGI and SCI. Da, 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 da. Yeah, the SCI had more colours. I don't know, dealing with old PC colours is weird. 16 colours though, I could believe that. Crazy to think that the colour palettes jumped up from like 16 to 256. It's like when storage medium jumped from floppy disks to CDs. All of a sudden it's like 1.44 megabyte to like 700 megabyte. Just like that. No in between from one to like the huge other. It's amazing. Awesome. Yeah, what's in the current vote? Alice, it's American McGee's Alice, The Sinking City, Snatcher, and I don't remember the fourth game. Oh well. Doesn't really matter. I'll check the vote when we're finally done with Project Zero. Celeste. Of course, Celeste. Thanks, Jansen. Yeah, I feel like that vote is actually like the most varied selection we've put on the vote, which I'm happy with. In the past, it's been like a bunch of horror games and stuff, or stuff like that. But that one is actually super varied. 3D dark fantasy platformer with American McGee's Alice. The Sinking City is a Cthulhu-inspired detective game. Celeste is a 2D platformer with high difficulty. And Snatcher is an old-school graphic adventure game. There's a lot of variety there, I'd say. I keep putting Snatcher and Police Notes in the votes, like alternating. It's like, oh well, Police Notes didn't win this time, Snatcher goes in. Well, Snatcher didn't win this time, Police Notes goes in. I want to do one of them. I want to do both of them at some point, but But yeah, after this vote, I think I'll just play something I want to play, like I say, probably Ninja Gaiden. It'll be neat. I've never done either of them. I've been meaning to do Police Notes for years, and I just never actually sat down with it. Yeah, I'm glad you do. Glad you do, Chanson. I thought it was a good way to get people involved. Give them some kind of benefit for the whole idea. Let people feel like they contribute in some way. And it still works for me because I choose the games that go in the poll, and they're all games I want to do at some point. So far, the only one I've actually completed was Lollipop Chainsaw, though. Yeah. That was fun, though. It was pretty interesting. We had some fun with Lollipop Chainsaw. I had some of my regulars come in, and be like, "The fuck are you playing?" Which is always fun. I always like that reaction. Oh, Emily May! I was wondering what that noise was then. Oh, it's my raid alert. Emily May, thanks for the raid! It's looping! Bear with me a minute, let me fix this. Did they get rid of the thing? Hey Liam, how you doing, buddy? Is that playing on the stream now? Can you hear that? It doesn't look like it, it's just something I can hear. But that's okay. I'm not bad. We're just having a grinding session of a good RPG. Good stuff. What were you playing, Emily? Yeah, well, sometimes I choke on words and like two sounds come out. Emily. What were you playing, Emily? While I try and figure out how to stop this from constantly playing. They got rid of my buttons and I don't know why. Remake or original? I hate it when this thing loops. Where did they move buttons to? Remake. How did that go? Did you get a new PB? Or was it just practice? Alright, it's looking like I'm just going to have to sit here with it, but thankfully you guys can't hear it. Thank you, Teak. Thank you for hosting me and ridding me of the noise. I don't know why it just plays on a loop like that sometimes. It's not even all the time. And I've just realised what I could have done is just gone to Streamlabs site and sorted it out. But I didn't think of that, because I'm an idiot. Oh, well, you'll get it, you'll get it. You'll get it, Emily. It's just about the perseverance. Thanks for the host, Jansen. Yeah, I have a list of people on auto host. Doesn't inform people during auto host though, does it? Hey, thanks for the host, guys. I'm just sat here like trying not to choke. Is that console or PC? I suppose either way, that's actually a pretty good time. I want to change mantras, damn it. Oh, that's a good sound for console. Especially since you're not getting the 120 FPS knife tricks. It's good stuff. You'll get a new PB though. All about the perseverance. You know this. You speedrunning. You know this. I'm running out of money. Okay. Alright, you know what? Since we've had a bunch of people just pop in, how about we try and make some progress? End the grinding and try and actually progress the game. And everybody can see what this game is about with this upcoming cutscene, except it won't explain anything about what this game is about, and it'll probably just confuse everybody who has no idea what this game is. Sometimes I wonder why I don't get more people watching. Then I remember it's like, oh wait, I stream for like 3 hours for 3 days a week and play shit that nobody's looking for. And it's like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Let's set some skills. I need fire repel back. AP divide is fine. Boothily, yes. Oh, good. Probably okay. No, you're gonna need Boothily. Replace Agilo, definitely. Alright. Let's throw a save and let's go and take on the wolf boss. In case you're wondering, this is an RPG about people who've been turned into demons against their will and now are forced to eat each other to survive. You know, the family-friendly stuff. I don't remember what this game is actually rated. There's a cutscene that's going to happen in a minute. I'll look up what this game's rated.
This must be it.
It is rated 16 plus by Peggy, or in the US it is M for mature.
It's not the same anymore.
Janana. It's just like Janana.
Oh yeah, no, it's super interesting.
Can't you help?
The biggest problem, really, is that it's just not really available on any modern systems. We're actually playing this on PS2. It's a PS2 game. Look at the DualShock 2. Look at this. Look at the wire. I like the DualShock 2, actually. I like the DualShock 2 better than the DualShock 3. And the music's also really good. If you can hear the music over me. That was the wrong head. There we go. Wait a minute, didn't I get Fire Drain? Shit, I should have stacked that on. You bastard. Should have. I'm pretty sure I got Fire Drain. No, I didn't. I don't remember now. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Should have put media right. I should have done more preparations than, like, none at all. Did you prepare yourself? That's a bad idea. You know, it's easy to forget that the Trauma Center series is an Atlas series. But yeah, no, Shoji Meguro does good stuff. Can't really disagree with that. Nocturne's soundtrack is fantastic. I especially love just like the standard battle theme. One thing I've been really fond of with this game is if you go into a battle and you're ambushed and you haven't transformed, like the low-key version of the battle theme that plays, and then like as you start getting going in the battle and it starts ramping up to the full battle theme, it's like I love that. It's awesome. I love themes that ramp up into awesome. They throw down a medkit. But yeah, like when we're not playing Resident Evil, which is actually a lot of the time now, I don't play Resident Evil as much anymore as I used to. We're playing stuff like this, RPGs sometimes. If we weren't playing this today, we were going to be playing Fatal Frame instead, but I didn't want to play that today. We are currently going through Fatal Frame. For anybody who's looking forward to that, it's Project Zero in Europe, Fatal Frame in the US. It's the same game. Different names. But like, we do a lot of variety. I should have done Fire Repel. I'm gonna regret this. Watch me regret this. Not pleasant. I don't like that Ren skill. It does a lot of damage. Alright, revive. No. Fire Repel, and then revive. We learned this lesson earlier. Should have put Recalm on. I meant to do that and I just completely forgot. I thought I went into this battle prepared and then I really didn't. Really, I don't have a media armor? Okay, Fire Repel. Swap out. No, I can't swap out because the others aren't set for it. Damn it. Heal and another heal. Alright. Riding on the seats, riding by the heal the wrong person. Riding by the seat of our pants. You know, maybe Void Fizz would have been good for this. And by maybe, like, Void Fizz would have been good for this. I should have brought it. You have the higher magic skill. And then you heal. See, this is the point in Shin Megami Tensei games that I really like. When... like, you pass the early game of difficulty just because you don't have the options, and you're into difficulty because it's legitimately challenging and you need to think of how to deal with these fights. And that's my favourite point of any Mega 10 game, when it hits that. Some games take longer than others to actually get that far, though. Okay, we took one head. I think the focus now should be the middle head. See how that goes for us. It's like, okay. My thought when we last tried this was we take care of the healing head first, then we take care of the status effect head. That leaves the attacking head with no support. We can deal with that. But then the attacking head pulled out the ability to use one turn to gain 4 turns. And then it just started charging its attacks, and it was not pleasant. My expectation is that something like that's going to happen if we take out the attack head now and leave status effect head. But we'll see. There is strategy going into all of this. That's the reason I want Fire Drain instead of Fire Repel. We could do Void Fire and it would serve a similar purpose, but Void Fire wouldn't end his turn. You know, the smartest idea would have been to put Repel Fire on Heat. Because Heat, we're not using physical attacks, and Heat has the lowest magic stat. Drain Spell would be the best, but the problem is the cost of learning it. That's been the main issue with actually getting to it. And so if we don't win it here, we're gonna grind some more for it. And then that is a problem. Because building up all of the stat buffs it's gotten, leading to that where it can just one-hit us and there's nothing we can do. Which is why Void Fizz is going to be useful. But then you also can't predict that. That's a lot of damage. I feel like this is the turning point. This, if there was going to be any boss in the game I'd call a wake-up call boss, it would be this. Because this boss is putting us through a lot more trouble than any other boss. Even something like Bat. Bat was a pain, but Bat never did enough damage to actually be a worry. It's the increased physical capabilities combined with the stat buffs and debuffs. They're the problem. And it has us on the defensive throughout this entire fight. Which means to win this, I either get lucky or have to rework my entire strategy. Yeah, Bat's fight... Like, the third one was great because I found his weakness very early on. And at that point, he had nothing. But, like, the first two, especially the first when we were doing this playthrough, was a pain. Like, weakening the defense and then doing rend is a problem because there's nothing we can do against that, and it's major damage. Which is why going for the status head is a good idea to try and deal with that. But then it leaves the problem the physical head can easily compensate for it when it's on its own. Lowering the defense again, just, it's a problem, it keeps going. And then shit like that. Like, that makes me think, is it specifically programmed to use fire to heal itself when you're using fire repel? Because if not, then that's just a bad twist of luck for me. Because it's doing smart with that. Say we keep going like this, say we keep doing like this. And we get close to defeating Looper here. Because we keep throwing out fire repel, specifically to protect Surf, and prevent him from getting extra attacks. Because we keep throwing that out, it can heal itself whenever it wants. Agidime will sort everything out, and we can't do enough damage to counter that. And it creates a problem we have to try and figure out. And that's like the last 3-4 turns worth of damage taken care of. So let's stop playing defensive and let's try and go aggressive. See if we can work that. Got another Bufula. You know what, I think I had somebody learn Fire Drain. And I'm just an idiot, and it's another thing that I had actually prepared for and then didn't put on the characters. That's going to be something I do if we don't win this one. Like, we don't win this one, my entire strategy changes. Like, everything has to change. And that's going to be something we do. Probably replace both Surf and Heat with Gale and Cielo. And see how that works out for us. Yeah, he's lowering our stats way too much here. The fact that he has Mamudo is something I don't like. Alright, come on. He's lowered our stats way too much. I don't like that this entire fight can suddenly be over because of a bad roll of the dice. I don't like that in any fight with an enemy that has Mamudo. And it's even worse with Mamudoon. $860, what can we do with that? That's above like endgame level damage. Okay, so there's a thought here. All of the debuffs have probably gone off the character when they've died. That's a pretty standard thing. So, because Argilla just went down and came back, have Argilla do Bufula now? Nah. This entire thing's a wash. I can feel it. We came in here way less prepared than we needed to be. Hammer and Mudo are like one of my single biggest criticisms. Like the games can be difficult, yeah. But Hammer and Mudo are so luck-based. Instant death, luck-based, instant death. I hate that. It's like my biggest complaint when we were doing Skies of Arcadia. Fantastic game. But so early in the game, you come up against, like, regularly come up against, and one specific area that you have to go through. Enemies that have access to a guaranteed instant kill spell. And you're at a point where you don't have a good way of regularly reviving people. Yeah, we're just not doing enough damage now. And there goes Argilla. Why? Luck of the draw, I guess. Skies of Arcadia is fantastic. If you push on, because that's the South Ocean, I remember that specifically. Push on past that, and Skies of Arcadia is fantastic. To date, it's the longest stream we've done. It took 13 sessions to beat, and I came out of it thinking, damn, I want to do that again. It's the only game I've beaten where I've been like, where I've just debated going straight back into it. It was like 50 hours. It was the longest game we've done, and I hold it as a big contrast to Dark Souls 2. Because Dark Souls 2 took 8 sessions, I was done with it by 4. Skies of Arcadia took 13 sessions, and they weren't exactly short sessions. Some of them went on for like 5 hours. I should just let this kill me, honestly. Just drawing this fight out isn't solving anything. But like, it went on for 13 sessions, and I think by the end it was like 53 hours on the save file. Single longest game we've played on stream. It was fantastic, and I just wanted to do it again afterwards. It was that good. If you have a way of playing Skies of Arcadia, I recommend just doing it. Let's try this again. Better. We can do this better. It's about time to call it for tonight, but I want to try this again while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I hate that. Hammer and Mudo are my single biggest complaints with the entire series. Okay, so Gale, Argilla, and Cielo. Alright. That's what we did. We did Skies of Arcadia Legends on GameCube, and I cannot recommend it enough. It was so good. I had it as a kid, and I played it and beat it as a kid, and I'd been meaning to do it again for years. And I finally did it for the stream, and it was amazing. It was one of those things, like, I played it as a kid, and I loved it as a kid. I think I beat it at, like, 13. And then over the years since then, it had been a case of, like, starting it, and then just kind of not following up with it for years. And I sat down with it for the stream, and it was a game that lived up to all of its hype. All of its nostalgia hype. It was so good. So you want Mutual Karma in place of Iron Stomach. You also want Mutual Karma in place of Iron Stomach. You know, I can understand why you think that, Seek, but in every re-release of an RPG I've played, adding characters like that always feels like they don't fit. Especially with how character-driven Skies of Arcadia is. The characters and their progression and growth, and just them as characters, is so important to the game. I mean, you know what? I guess you could argue as the fourth party member, because let's be fair, Enrique isn't as important, Gilda isn't as important, and after a certain point, Drachma isn't as important. So if we run with that, there we are, Fire Drain. Replace Mutual Karma. Yeah, no, actually thinking about it, you are kind of right. I'm thinking about all this stuff. the Tales games where the re-releases have had extra characters, they've always been kind of pointless. You know, you are right. Piastol probably would have worked as a party member. Who knows, if they ever re-release it again, maybe they'll do it. Okay, since the only spell we really need is Bufala, let me work this. And then throw Diorama on there. Yeah, no, like, I totally recommend Chansum actually doing Skies of Arcadia for yourself. You know, would Piastol actually be worth going through her side quest? Her side quest is difficult. Would a party member be worth that? It makes me think of Final Fantasy Tactics, when you go through all the trouble to recruit Cloud, and Cloud is not worth it. Or Mega Man X7 is a good example. And is Klim still here? It says Klim's here. Klim will appreciate this analogy. Mega Man X7, you go through all the trouble to get X playable, and then he's not worth it. It adds extra story. Vesperia re-release added characters. Grace's F re-release added characters. Hearts R added characters in its re-release. Yeah, X7's bad. And another contributing factor, when you go out your way to get X, he's not worth it. Recon, we want that. Grace's F and Hearts R are easier to forget that with because the original versions of those weren't released in the West. So it's understandable that you forget that. Ice Boost. Put that on Consume. Counter, put that on Zanma. Maybe she was intended to be a party member at some point and it was scrapped. I need to replace Agilo with something, because that's not going to work. Buffs. Buffs. Do I have... Is that the only buff I've got? That's a debuff. Do I have buff defense? I don't know. Is it maybe if they ever re-release Skies of Arcadia again, Piastol will be playable? Maybe they'll make her side quest easier, so you can make her playable. To make it actually worth getting her. But then again, considering the fourth party member is always required for the story, you never get to choose your fourth party member until the end. I can see how it'd be kind of a problem. Unless there was a case of, like, do her quest line. Maybe do her quest line before a certain point, and then once you're able to choose, she returns, and it's like, now you can choose me as well. I don't know. Okay. I have to go through it again, actually, though, to confirm that with you. We didn't finish her quest line on the stream. Recalm. Analyze is never useful with bosses. Apply a drain, place iron stomach. Ice boost, replace consume. Buffalo at the top. Recalm. Tarakaja is probably a good one. But what I want really is Rakaja, I guess. Throw you there. Rain. Oh, you haven't got Fire Drain yet. 2 characters with Fire Drain's enough. Ice Boost. That. Alright, let's save it and then try with this. I'll be honest, I expected to be past Looper by this point. That's why the title of today's stream is Eat the Brutes. I expected to be dealing with the brutes. Looper has put up more of a fight than I anticipated. But yeah, you know, that could actually be an interesting thing, Teak. After you've done Dragon Quest IV, take a break from Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest for a bit and put Skies of Arcadia on turn-based Tuesdays. Alright, there we go. I mean, I imagine you'd probably do it through Dolphin. I would not mind seeing that game through Dolphin.
This must be it.
Alright, let's try this again. Fire Drain. And then Buffalo. Let's make a point of taking out status effects head first. Good work. Fire Drain. Thanks, Johnson. Don't do Buffalo. Tarazi, yeah. And you have Tarakaja. Sure, just do that. I feel like over the longer period of time, status effects head is the biggest problem. If we can kill it fast enough that if we can do damage fast enough, oh, that was good, that the heal head can't heal it enough, then we solved the biggest problem. Because constant Rakukaja, Tarunda, Tarakaja, that building up over time is the single biggest problem. You know what, you actually have a point with that. That is actually probably the best point. Let's do another Tarakaja. Yeah, the specific part of the weapon that denotes moonstone color is probably like the single best point overall. There it is. The rest of the fight should not be anywhere near as difficult. I stand by what I said. Okay. So physical attacks on attack head is the problem. Because the attack head has counter-strike. It's got to just be the attack head. So the trick now is, do we focus on heal head or attack head? Because heal head can heal. But we don't know what it'll do if we take out attack head. But we know if we take out heal head, attack head becomes a much bigger problem. I think it's going to have to be heal head. I don't think we can do enough damage to attack head to actually counteract that. Also, I'm pretty sure that the status effect, the buff debuff head, was the one casting Ice Repel. You know, I was like, it's weird that Ice is doing more damage. Because I haven't got mecha-chrono. And then I just realised, oh yeah, I equipped everybody with Ice Boost. Yeah, heal head before attack head. Definitely not before status effect head. We've seen that that's not a good idea. Like, look at that. Without Surf to worry about, and without status effect head buffing him and debuffing us, that combo attack was fine. The trick of this is going to come with the final head. That's still a dangerous attack. That presents a problem. Okay, you know what? Recalm and then do a medkit. Yeah, Rend is still nasty. But that's not a problem. Now, the real fight begins. And I want to throw down another medkit, actually. Get everybody up to max. And start throwing Boofalas at center head. Because now it starts doing Psycho Rage and getting 4 turns per. Fire Drain's probably a good idea here, because he's probably always going to do Psycho Rage, but if he opens with Miragion, or just Agidine, Fire Drain immediately ends his turn. That'll be great. You have to take the gamble with this one. I was expecting that to kill him. Glad it didn't. Just keep throwing that damage down, heal, and I think we might have this. I think the big difference is going for status effect head first. Because in the time it takes us to go for healing head and then status effect head has thrown a lot down. That's made him stronger and us weaker, and that's the big difference. Alright, thanks for joining us, Clem. You take care, buddy. There we go. Plus, 3 heals. Love that. Take care, Clem. That was better. That was definitely less damage. One day, those numbers are going to be red and it'll signify we're getting near to the end of this battle. I think the difference also between using Fire Repel and Fire Drain, making the leap for Fire Drain over Fire Repel, has definitely been worth it. Because he was healing himself too much off us. You know, I was hoping he wouldn't do that. That's also a problem. Did that turn Cielo to stone? Shit. Have something for that? You know, I'd argue that of, like, pretty much all the Mega 10 games, especially mainline. I think the biggest difference with the way this is going, though, is... in mainline Shin Megami Tensei, you're working off demons, and it's either a case of having to resummon previous demons for specific attacks, or trying to work the fusion system to work in a specific way. I think this works better, because when you work through your mantras, you still have all those skills there, it's just about picking the right skills out. It gives you the freedom to strategize. It gives you the freedom to strategize without the frustration of mainline Mega 10 with the way fusion works. And in the end, I think the game is better for it. Nice. I think the mantra system and characters doing the abilities themselves and retaining the abilities, you just have to set them, works better than Demon Fusion. There we go, we're getting red. Okay. Really didn't need that to be a crit. Okay, and you heal yourself. My hope is next turn, 3 Buffalos, end it. We'll see how this turn goes, though. Well, that's immediately gone wrong. Ugh. When we find another shop, I really need to get more medkits. Or just start equipping me diorama. Why have no me diorama costs like 150,000, that's why I don't have it. I should get me diorama. On at least 2 characters. Alright, let's make the plunge. Come on. Yes! And there you have the beauty of a well-handled Shin Megami Tensei boss. The requirements of the strategy, the grinding isn't the focus. The reason we were grinding was specifically for mantras to give us new abilities, and the abilities and skills are the key to Shin Megami Tensei, and that is how you progress. And that is an example of a Shin Megami Tensei boss done right. Not just me winning the fight, but the fight itself, in concept, is the right design. Thanks, Jansen. I'm just choking here.
You can't fight the hunger forever. Once it takes over, nobody can help you anymore.
Yeah, Argilla.
That's why God said, this cycle of sadness must not continue. But
Please devour me.
Lupa, what shall I tell your child?
Tell him to become a man of honor. He'll be carrying an olive leaf.
Your honor does not die with you. I will find your son.
I really like a lot of the characters in this game. Like, some of them get so few, like, so little screen time, but they make what they have so valuable.
Be you angel or demon, you will
It's really good.
surely regret giving me this cursed
Yeah.
power.
Like, Lupa had, I think, 4 scenes in total. That was it. His first appearance at the temple when we're told what's going on, and then the meeting, into the sewers, and that. It's 4 scenes. And they did so much with that. It was great. Alright. No, not heat. Surf. I'm gonna put Argilla back in the party. And Gale. And let's set everybody up again. Place mutual karma with Iron Stomach. You're fine for now. You're also fine. Yes, written by the writer who was contracted by Atlas to do this game but had to leave because of health concerns. I was interested in reading them until I found out that only 2 of the 5 novels have been translated to English, and there's no word on translating the rest, which is really disappointing. Okay, let's rework this. Yeah, it's super disappointing because the scenario works out differently from what I'm aware. From the game. Like, after the original writer left. Because of health reasons and stuff. The fan doing it. It's not that it's a bad thing, it means that if it's even, like, if it's actually completed, that could be years. Ah. Really is a shame. Yeah. I wonder why they stopped doing them. AP Divide. Awesome. Iron Stomach. I wonder why they stopped translating them. Were they just not selling well enough to justify it? But then how well does something like that have to sell? Terra... Of course, consume. And then what are we missing here? Because, like, there's the opposite case for the Vampire Hunter D novels. I think, like, 15 of them, maybe 13, 15, a lot of them have been translated. And so, like, what's the threshold for it? I was looking into it very recently, actually. Actually picking up a physical copy of the first book, and I think they're kind of pricey. Or just not available. Need consume. There it is. What are a place consume with? What are you missing? You don't have heal. Trick. Okay. Replace heal with Zanma then. $25 is a lot for a book. How big are they? Like, how many pages? Although I did pay more than standard for the Vampire Hunter D novels that I have. Well, you don't. If you don't know offhand, like, you don't have to go and run check. Consume, replace Zanma. And assume replace ammo. And then heat heals everybody, and we progress. Finally. It's interesting information. Dude, I could eat your face. Alright, this is going to be from one dungeon straight into the next, isn't it? Save point. Alright, that's fair enough then. So about how many pages are there now? That's quite a lot of money to pay for books that size. Is it? Does that kind of equate to what I paid for the Vampire Hunter D books? The Vampire Hunter D books that I got were paperback, so you know that yeah, thinking about it probably actually makes sense. Like where we actually go from there, it probably does make sense. Yeah, I would be interested in reading them if we got the end of them. I don't want to start them and then constantly wonder or have to find out what the end was through a summary. I feel like there was something I had to do that with. There's stuff I had to find out the beginning of that way. Like I'd love to get them, but I don't want 2 of 5 books and then never getting the other 3. It's the same reason why I never read the Song of Ice and Fire books. Yeah, I can understand the lack of motivation for it. It's the same reason why I never started the Song of Ice and Fire books. I was gonna, with the intention that I'll do it when the last book comes out. And here we are, like 4 years later from that point, and there still hasn't been a new book. So, you know. Then I watched the TV series, and I think we all know how that ended. Never-ending story of Ice and Fire. Yeah. Pretty much. But I think we're going to leave it there. We've gone out on a high note with that boss battle with Looper. It was good. Like, that boss battle is like a very good example of a Shin Megami Tensei boss done right. Especially because, like, at no point did he ever use Mudo. Like, never used Mamudo. It was purely a battle of strategy and skill, and it was fantastic. Preparation. Riding levels never would have made a difference with that. We could have gotten stupidly strong and it wouldn't have mattered. Because that's not how the SMT bosses work. Like, you can do that as an experiment at some point. Like, play an SMT game and, like, throw in some action replay codes or whatever to max your characters out to level 99 and whatever you've got. And then push into it, and eventually you'll hit a point where your level doesn't matter anymore. You'll brute force through a bunch of the game, but eventually you will hit a point where the level doesn't matter anymore. Because you will have to start thinking through skill and strategy and that's what the game is trying to prepare you for. Because you've brute forced your way through it, you won't be prepared for that, and so it changes everything. Like that Looper fight was a fantastic example of a good Shin Megami Tensei fight. But with that, I got an action replay for PS2 years ago. I tried it out on Lucifer's Call, Nocturne, and didn't really do much with it, to be honest. I got bored, I think, after the first Dante fight. It was interesting, but yeah. It was interesting for a short period, but all challenge was gone from the game for a while, and it would have continued for a while. Like, until a considerable amount later, and it just wasn't interesting to me. I think like action replay codes are probably best off for not RPGs. Like if you play Zelda with action replay and stick on the moon jump, Ocarina of Time is kind of interesting with that, with the moon jump. See outside the environments and stuff. That was how I first learned that games weren't actually worlds. They were just textures hiding the end of an area. That's why you bought it. Oof. There's actually a really interesting thing I saw a little while back that might be of interest to you. I think it was using action replay codes on the GameCube version of Ocarina of Time to increase the frame rate, and they increased it to 30. They showed the video they showed was increasing it to 30, increasing it to 60, and then increasing it to 120. Yeah, definitely. And I think RPGs don't really do that so well, but something like Ocarina of Time or, say, Metroid Prime. Like, Metroid Prime, with some of the specific upgrades earlier on, is really interesting. Like, having the Plasma Beam early so you can fight Thardus and find out Thardus is actually weak to it, which is neat. Although if you have the original US release, you can get the Plasma Beam before the Thardus fight and find out Thardus is weak to the Plasma Beam. In every later release, they specifically block the door that leads to the Plasma Beam with wreckage that requires a power bomb. Includes the European version. Yeah, if you do look into the action replay codes to boost the frame rate, it's recommended you only boost it to 30. 60 and 120 were done with Dolphin, specifically because you'd be pushing your GameCube really hard and probably have to overclock it for that. It was interesting, but not something that should be done on actual hardware. How you doing, Star? Coming just at the end as we're wrapping up, you missed the super hype boss fight where I demonstrated my skill and tactical thinking. Yeah, like don't put it to 60 and 120 on GameCube. You might damage it. Like, it's not a good idea. I think that's possibly part of it, but the original release of Metroid Prime also had weird collision coding, so you could stand on a lot of stuff that you weren't supposed to. They fixed that in all the later releases as well. But that is going to do it for tonight. I want to thank everybody who joined the stream. Big special thank you to everybody who joined the stream. Thank you so much for your support. I always really appreciate that. Super big special thank you to everybody who joined the chat. That is Clem, Teak, Ninja when he was here earlier, Chance, Philip, he was here earlier, that was really cool, and Star for jumping in at the end. Thank you all for keeping me company. The chat is what makes the streams. It's like the best part of the streams. Extra big special thank you to Emily May for the raid and Chance for the follow. That is really cool. Thanks so much for the follow, guys, and the raid. It was really good. Oh, Liam joined us as well, and Emily May was speaking. Thank you for that. We're back on Sunday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time GMT, with more Digital Devil Saga. Sunday is the specified day for Digital Devil Saga. We've just been doing more of it this week because I didn't want to do Project Zero. Sunday is Digital Devil Saga day. So we're back with more of that as we head into the Brute's base. It's cool. I love the stream and like thanks for jumping in and joining the chat, Chance. It's always cool to have people to chat with. It's like the best part of the stream. Otherwise, I might as well just be playing on my own, which I could do. But the stream's like motivation for everything, and the chat is a bonus, and it's like the best part. Once again, big special thank you to everybody who joined the chat. Thank you to everybody who joined the stream. Always really appreciate the support. Thank you to Emily for the raid, Chance for the follow. Back Sunday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time GMT. Specifically Greenwich Mean Time GMT, so if you want to try and catch us, you know you can work out what the time is with in conjunction with your time. We got the Discord link there. If anybody who isn't on the Discord wants to join the Discord, don't feel pressured to, but if you want to join, it's there. It's where I let people know when I'm about to go live before the stream, and also if there are any delays, interruptions, whatever. Greenwich. There's a Greenwich in New York. Greenwich Village, I think. It's pronounced the same way, which is funny because it's a specifically English word that's spelled differently from how it's pronounced, like several English words. Like, check this out. Let me get this. Another classic example of an English word, English name, that is not pronounced how it's spelt. That's pronounced Chumley. Chumley. If you've ever played Broken Sword, the character George, in the third Broken Sword game, Sleeping Dragon, the character George Stobar is sent to meet at the start is called Chumley. But everybody keeps calling him Cholmondeley, and it irritates the hell out of him, and it isn't until later that George finally finds out how to actually pronounce his name. I didn't write the English language. Actually, a name that doesn't come up that often. Like, it's an English name, but when the first time I heard it was when I played Broken Sword: The Sleeping Dragon, and it's a joke in hindsight. The idea that it's pronounced Chumley, but everybody keeps pronouncing it as it's written, Cholmondeley. I want to do Broken Sword at some point. That'd be fun. Don't know how I'd do Broken Sword 4 because that's PC exclusive. Yeah. But anyway, rambling. Once again, I want to thank everybody who joined the stream. Thank you so much for your support. Big special thank you to Chance for the follow, Emily for the raid, everybody who joined the chat. Super cool. Your chat's the best part of the stream. Back 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time GMT. And with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and take care. We'll catch you later. Languages are weird. You should see Irish names. Try pronouncing that Irish names. They confuse me. You too, Chance. Have a good time, everybody. Have a fantastic time of day. It's what I say. I always say have a fantastic time of day. I don't know what time of day it is for you. You could be in Australia for all I know. Have a fantastic time of day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.